This is the homework for 7, 116, 7, 119, and 7, 120, A and B. In problem 116, you needed to plot the points that were in the table. After plotting the points, does the graph show either a positive or negative association? Well, looking at the data points, I can definitely see that there is a trend line here. And I see that it has some type of a positive association. So I can see that as the height of the person increases, so does the test score increases as well. So part C says, does greater height cause better spelling ability? Well, this graph definitely shows that height, the taller you are, the better the test score. But does it necessarily mean that's true? Well, just because taller people tend to score higher on the spelling test, greater height does not cause better spelling ability. So no. What other factors could create the association that we see in this graph, this positive association? Well, if you look here, height of 18 inches has a test score of 0. So a person that's 18 inches is a baby. And then look, maybe a toddler, and the taller they get, the better their test scores are. Well, this association might have been created because shorter people are younger, like this infant. And the taller you are, the older you get, the better spelling ability that you would have. So that could be one factor that would cause this association. In problem 719, you need to determine the slope of the line. So we have the line here, and you can take any two lattice points, any points that intersect the grid lines. So we have a point here at the y-intercept, 215, 420. So I'm going to take these two lattice points, and remember, slope is rise over run, so you're going to rise 5 over 2. It's very important that you pay attention to the intervals. You can see that each one, well, every 2 is 5 units. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So when I go up 2 boxes, that doesn't mean that it's 2, because I have to look at the intervals here. And it's going up by 5. And then when I look at the x-axis, every 2 is 1 unit. So I went over 4, so 1, 2. So the slope is 5 over 2. In part C, what is the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is where the line intersects the y-axis. And I highlighted the y-axis here. And it intersects at 10. So the y-intercept equals 10. Part C says, what is the rule for the line? Well, if you have a slope, remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So the m is the slope, 5 over 2. And the b, the y-intercept, is 10. The rule or the equation for the line is y equals. To solve the equation A, you can see that we have decimals. And I would like to use the fraction buster method to eliminate these decimals. And remember, when you multiply by base 10, it will increase the value of the number, and it'll move the decimal 1 place value. If you multiply it by 100, it'll move the decimal place 2 place values. So you want to multiply it so you eliminate all of the decimals. So if we multiplied it by 10, every term by 10, it would eliminate the decimal for these two terms, but not this one. So we're going to multiply all terms by 100. And 100 multiplied by 75 hundredths x will move the decimal 2 places to the right. If we were to divide by 100, it would move it 2 places to the left, because when you're dividing it, it decreases the value. So 100 multiplied by 75 hundredths x is 75x. 100 multiplied by negative 5 tenths, we would move it 2 places, put a placeholder with a 0, so negative 50. 100 multiplied by x is 100x. 100 multiplied by 1 5/10, move the decimal place to the right, 2 place values. So the decimal is here, 1, 2, and we get 150. Now we solve for x. We move the variable to the side that's greater, so over to the 100. So our inverse property of addition is subtraction. Subtract 75x from both sides, 0 pair. 100 minus 75x is 25x. Now we're trying to get the variable by itself, so inverse property of addition is subtraction. Subtract 150 from both sides. Think of this as a dig. You dig down 50 feet, dig down 150 feet. You've dug down a total of 200 feet, so negative 200. Inverse property multiplication is division. Divide both sides by 25. That created the giant 1. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Remember, a negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative. So negative 200 divided by 25 is negative 8. So x equals negative 8. In equation B, we have two fractions with a denominator of 6 and 3. So to use the fraction buster method, we want to multiply each term by the least common multiple. The least common multiple for 6 and 3 is 6. So we're going to multiply each term by 6. 6 multiplied by x is 6x. 6 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 12. 6 multiplied by negative 1/6, 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 multiplied by negative 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 multiplied by x is just negative x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. So we got positive 2. Now we want to get the variables to the side that has more, or has a greater value. So inverse property of subtraction is addition, created a 0 pair. 6x plus x is 7x. Inverse property of subtraction is addition. Add 12 to both sides, 0 pair. 2 plus 12 is 14. Inverse property of multiplication is division. Create the giant 1. What you do to one side, you do to the other. 14 divided by 7 is 2.